on how monitoring and evaluation learnings of students became an asset in evaluation arena and how the collaboration of ECOI and Lady Irwin College is becoming a source of change. Let us watch a short film about ECOI and Lady Irwin College partnership. Thank you once again, and I welcome you all for this interesting session. Thank you.
Nidhi, can we check that? This is not audible.
There is no audio.
Maybe ma'am, please stop sharing. I'll play the video separately.
Its audio is not coming.
Evaluation is an integral part of the processes of development communication. It is key in designing effective programs responsive to the needs of communities, as well as understanding their impact from a multi-stakeholder perspective. At Lady Irwin College, the students of Development Communication and Extension are trained in evaluation processes and use these to assess needs, design program interventions, as well as monitor and evaluate their impacts. The curriculum is designed to build skills and conceptual understanding about the nuances of monitoring and evaluation, focusing both on providing theoretical grounding and practical applications. Pivoting on contemporary development discourses, the course builds understanding around issues of gender, equity, voice, ethics, and the decolonization of evaluation systems in the Global South. Course topics include theory of change, evaluation approaches and frameworks, indicators, data collection and analysis, evaluation standards, and guidelines. Special attention is given to evaluating communication for social change interventions and the use of participatory, community-centering innovative approaches.
The students of Lady Irwin College customized and derived the evaluation parameters and derived the key indicators of community and the well-being of the community. Right from need analysis to designing the monitoring tools, to stakeholder mapping, and to analyze the outcomes and then show the utmost dedication to deliver outcome-based results.
The department's partnership with ECOI has been instrumental in providing state-of-the-art training for development of professional skills in the students. The partnership has exposed students to a broader field of practitioners and government agencies and has helped to link academia with various kinds of agencies and partners in events related to evaluation.
On one hand, students and young professionals are getting fantastic opportunities to learn from the experienced professionals. On the other, the involvement of the faculty members in designing and conducting various activities with ECOI are bringing academic rigor with professional evaluation practice in India.
The high point of the ECOI DC department's collaboration was EvalFest 2024. The pre-conference satellite event was held at the Lady Irwin College campus and saw a range of evaluation practitioners, industry professionals from India and Southeast Asia participating. EvalFest provided an invaluable platform for hands-on training and developing managerial and leadership skills of students.
While organizing EvalFest 2024, students of Lady Irwin College were involved in various capacities such as implementers, designers, rapporteurs, facilitators, social media communicators, and so on. The experience with them was wonderful as they brought bubbling energy and innovative ideas.
The constant quest of the department faculty to update the curriculum as per industry standards and offer learning opportunities beyond the classroom to students for strengthening the teaching and learning processes continues to be the core principles guiding partnership between the department and ECOI.
Thank you, Rashmi ji. Thank you so much for your welcome, and greetings to everybody who's present here today. Welcome to everybody from across the globe who's joining us. Today's session that we have planned is like an interactive talk show, and because it's all about young people, we thought we should look at another format. We have experts from government, academia to discuss the topic of youth engagement in evaluation. As two key stakeholders, they play a very, very important role in shaping how the inclusion of youth within evaluation processes. To set the stage and flag issues of pivotal concern surrounding youth engagement in evaluation, we have with us Marco Sigone, Director, Independent Evaluation Office, UNFPA, to give the opening remarks. He's a person who has spearheaded the youth in evaluation standards and remains a key advocate for inclusion of young people in evaluation. A mentor of ICOI, he has facilitated the building of evaluation ecosystems in India. We will welcome you, sir, and I request Marco now to give his remarks.
Thank you very much, and namaste. Dear distinguished guests, champions of youth in evaluation, and friends, really welcome to this strategic event. First of all, I would like to thank the evaluation community of India and Lady Irwin College, New Delhi, for organizing this critical and timely global event as part of the Youth in Evaluation Week 2024. You know, with the world grappling with multiple crises and the pushback on the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, we really must recognize the urgency of empowering young people and amplifying their voices in every sphere, including in evaluation. Back in 2022, the Eval for Action campaign, co-led by UNFPA, Eval Youth, and the Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation, launched the Youth in Evaluation Manifesto in 6 languages, kicking off a global movement to harness the power of youth in evaluation. In all, we got over 1,000 signatories, including 200 organizations. And among these organizations, we also have governments of Argentina, Costa Rica, Ecuador, India, Kenya, Nigeria, and Uganda had led the way, endorsing the call to action embodied in the manifesto. Among academia, we have also the Center of Evaluation from the University of Sri Jayewardenepura in Sri Lanka, the Islamic University of Bahawalpur in Pakistan, and the Institute of Rural Management in India have signed the manifesto. Building on this advocacy, in 2023, comprehensive standards to guide the meaningful engagement of youth in evaluation were co-created, tailored to academia, governments, international organizations, the private sectors, VOPEs, and youth organizations. Launched the first Youth in Evaluation Week 2023, the standards provide a practical roadmap for organizations from various sectors to embrace and elevate young voices and leadership in evaluation. So to governments and academic institutions, really, I encourage you to sign the Youth in Evaluation Manifesto, adopt and uphold the Youth in Evaluation standards, and commit to self-reporting your progress next year. The standards are not only a tool for self-accountability, but they are a catalyst for transformative change. By upholding and reporting on the standards, you will harness the boundless potential of young people in evaluation, strengthen national evaluation capacities, enhance program effectiveness, and accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Yesterday, at the global inauguration of the Youth in Evaluation Week, we celebrated the Institute of Rural Management India as an emerging super champion in academia, a recognition based on their self-reported progress against the Youth in Evaluation standards. So really, my congratulations to them. Looking ahead to 2025, we hope to recognize and celebrate even more youth in evaluation champions from governments and academia. So today, as we exchange successes, challenges, and lessons in meaningfully engaging youth in evaluation from the perspective of governments and academia, I hope that the deliberation will resonate deeply with the governments and academic institutions, especially in the global South, and provide insights and innovative ideas that can be adapted and implemented within unique context. So really, thank you very much for your engagement.
Thank you so much, Marcos. That was really nice. You gave a beautiful overview of the importance of these standards and how they can spearhead change within academic as well as government institutions. Being an academician myself, I value these well and the importance of youth engagement. Yesterday's inauguration was also very, very well received. It brought out the importance of young people's participation in these. Thank you so much. We now move ahead with our panel and would like to now introduce our panelists from the government. We have invited our panelists who are members of either from the government and academia, and they will provide, we hope through their deliberations today in the panel, provide rich insights and perspective about youth engagement. Our first panelist from the government system is Dr. Abhinash Das, who is the director in the Development Monitoring and Evaluation Office of the prestigious Niti Aayog, Government of India. He has extensive experience in the sphere of monitoring and evaluation of Government of India schemes and has written articles in journals as well as popular newspapers. Our second panelist from the academic system is Professor Kathleen Blazer Papitsa, who is an associate professor in monitoring and evaluation at the School of Governance, University of Wits, Johannesburg, South Africa. She has spent her career as an evaluator in civil society and later working to build evaluation systems and capacity. Her research is all about understanding the drivers of change in complex social and ecological systems. Also joining us today on our panel is Mr. Matthew from Uganda, who interfaces between the government, academia, and the industry. He is the senior technical specialist in the Ugandan government with the Budget Monitoring and Accountability Unit of the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. He is a member of the National Monitoring and Evaluation Technical Working Group, and he serves on various school boards and currently also holds the chair of the Ugandan Evaluation Association. Within our panel, we also have two young professionals, and they join us today, Dr. Shuchi Gaur and Ms. Aanchal Mittal. Shuchi is the Director of Global Engagements and Impacts at World YWCA Geneva, an expert in community building and engagement. Shuchi is a powerful storyteller and works to enhance feminist causes through innovative digital platforms and advocacy campaigns. Also joining us is Aanchal. Aanchal recently joined as Communication Manager at World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, having previously worked at the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. She's passionate about young people and bringing their voices to the forefront. And I'm proud to say both are alumnus of the Department of Development Communication at Lady Irwin College. Also in our panel, we have Timothy Lubanga. He is Commissioner and Head of the Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate at the Office of the Prime Minister in Uganda. He has spearheaded the monitoring and evaluation system setting up in Uganda and is a highly experienced and valuable member. He will not be able to join us today in person due to pressing high-level pressures, but he has sent a lovely message to us, which we will include as part of our presentations. So having introduced our speakers, now we begin, and I think I'd like to start with Dr. Abhinash, sir. Sir, you are from the Niti Aayog, and Niti Aayog is the central body that looks at monitoring and evaluation. I would like to ask from you, what is the take of the Aayog related to young people, and how have you, in your current capacity, been involving with young people in evaluations? Sir.
Thank you, Archana ji, very much. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and namaste from India. I thank EcoI and Lady Irwin College for inviting me in this rich discussion today. So, DMO Niti Aayog, I'll just give a brief background, is the apex monitoring and evaluation body in the country. And DMU was established in September 2015. Before that, we had Planning Commission, as you all know. India followed a planned development approach. since its independence and setting off of Planning Commission in 1952 and since till 2015. But as you see, the emerging requirements of monitoring and evaluation and the requirements of the present day world is changing dynamically. So we also had to adapt to the requirements of the government in terms of evaluation. And not only adapt, we have actually organizationally overhauled the Planning Commission into Niti Aayog. So National Institute for Transforming India. So that is how Niti Aayog came into action. And earlier Planning Commission used to be housed with only Government of India professionals. Now, as you will see that almost more than half of our recruitment is done through lateral entrants, which are called young professionals and consultants. So the young professional are actually those early in their careers. And so we actually have a very, I was going through the standards that of the youth evaluation, and we are like scoring among like meeting the requirements to exceeding the requirements in all the 6 parameters. So I think we are on the right track. And we are already involving youth in a big way by hiring young professional both in the Niti Aayog and DMO separately, and also they have a kind of career path advancing into consultant level 1 and level 2. So it's not only and apart from this, we also have a very vibrant internship program that actually facilitates transition from a academic school in the college to a professional environment. So that we provide from 6 weeks that can actually go on for 6 months. That's based on the requirement, but 6 weeks is the minimum. So that internship we are providing, and I'm glad to know that many students are interested in the internships. And apart from this, we like this is the human resource part, but apart from this, hands-on experience on the evaluation is also provided in our at DMU Niti Aayog. We have actually started first of its kind evaluation exercise through involvement of various universities like central universities and state universities, and that too in the tier 2, tier 3 cities of India. So we are not only going for the big universities, but also for those universities which are a bit remotely placed, and thereby creating an ecosystem and enthusiasm in the youth of this country to come forward and actually take up any dedicated course on M&E, and also to pursue further this career in the field of monitoring and evaluation. So in this exercise, we actually involved about 10 universities in India in the first phase and about 20 in the second. So almost we will be covering all the states and union territories in India by next year, like early next year, 2025. So that's a hands-on exercise. That means the PhD students and the master's level students from all this university will get to associate with Niti Aayog in conducting the survey, in also be involved in kind of doing the preparatory exercise and also facilitating some analysis part of it. So not only they will be kind of involved in only in collection of data, but from end to end. And we had actually provided in the first round uh, about 4 training programs, training of trainers, and also on the field CAPI training, that is computer assisted personal interview. So we developed the CAPI, shared with them, and also one team from DMO consisting of 3 people went to each states, 10 states, and handhold those university students how to conduct. They were doing it for the first time. how to do they
So we are
can.
going to come back to you and ask you more about the internships. And already in the chat box, people are asking, how can we join the internship of the Niti Aayog? I'm going to now move on to Matthew. And if I could please ask you, what is the Ugandan government's take on involvement of youth and what are they doing? And what are you doing to get them involved in the evaluation processes? Matthew, are you there?
Yes, thank you so much. And first, I want to thank the evaluation community of India for organizing this event. Let me go straight to the question which you've posed. What field in Uganda is growing and quite because we have currently about 1,500 registered evaluators in Uganda. The population of Uganda is about 46 million from the current census. And of these 1,500 evaluators, but what is the government doing? One, they have set up training programs in public universities to train the youth and equip them with evaluation capacity. But let me speak specifically about my organization, which is the Ministry of Finance in Uganda. And we have a budget monitoring and accountability unit. I think it employs the biggest number of youth who are involved in monitoring and evaluation activity because we have about 30 staff. And these are targeted. In terms of recruitment, we really focus on young people, especially at officer level. And it is a pyramid which has very few people at the top and very many young people. Of course, what they're involved in is largely data collection, coding, and as we build their capacity, doing the mentorship, because we have a mentorship program for the young people, as we move forward, they consistently become experts in one or the other, and they start taking on better roles like doing the analysis and report writing. So in as far as government is concerned, that has been done. And secondly, the government has also put a position of a monitoring and evaluation officer. Today in Uganda, you can now be recruited and your title will be monitoring and evaluation officer across the government departments. So that is what government is doing so far.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's very nice and crisply put. I'm now going to ask Professor Kathleen. Ma'am, you have been teaching monitoring and evaluation courses, and I would like to know from you, in terms of having standalone M&E courses versus integrating them as part of curricula, what is your view of the value of these kind of courses? And how do you think these compete with the curricular demands of subject matter teaching and integrating this with M&E teaching?
Thank you so much. That's a very good question and one that I think is hotly debated within the universities. And while I teach in an M&E specific program that sits within management and governance, I think you need both. It's a little bit like how you advance on the gender agenda. Do you mainstream? Do you target? And ultimately, it can't be an either or. For evaluation to grow as a profession, I think you need to make progress on both fronts. So on one hand, in agriculture, in public health, in social sciences. And at the same time, you need to acknowledge and give space to monitoring and evaluation as a discipline that can respond to market dynamics and that can build pipelines of skills.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm now going to ask Shuchi and Achal. Both of you have studied courses in monitoring and evaluation in your college years. I would like to ask from you, how have these, since both of you are not directly into M&E positions, I would really like to know from you, what is the value of the M&E courses that you studied and how have they helped you in your professional journey? Achal, would you like to start?
Yes, of course. Thank you for the question. I think, yeah, it took me some sort of reflection to go back. I think because with each organization I have worked with, the importance and application of M&E in my work has sort of evolved and, become increasingly clear. Because when you start out, you can't really see that you're actually thinking about, oh, what the activities are or what the inputs are. But then you can imagine, what Archana ma'am was teaching you in the classroom with that framework. But I think the theories and practices that were taught in the DC courses that have sort of equip me with tools and resources to develop strategic communication plans, and those are especially not just aligned with organization goals but also are measurable in their impact. So across organizations now, when you work with think tanks and nonprofits, everyone talks about having smart goals and tangible ways to measure effectiveness of communication activities. And I think this is where you actually wear your M&E hat. And no, no, even when I've joined WAGS, I think the first task which has come to my plate is actually looking at all the communication products and how they've been doing and what has been going wrong. And this actually required me to revisit the M&E models and what we learned in terms of activities and inputs and how we can improve. So when we examine, various campaigns, social media platforms, curriculars that goes out or emailers, I think it just helped me to sort of review all of these using those models, and also how we can improve to communicate with our audiences, which is more effective, and how we can adjust the strategy. And I think eventually all of that sort of helps us to be transparent, be more accountable to our stakeholders and funders, because how much we think over the period of time when you're growing in and becoming from communication officer to manager, uh, you sure can start sell stories, but after a while your leads or senior management will ask you for numbers. And even though social media is such a phase where you can't always justify all of these things, but I think it's very important that everything is very measurable. And there, I think what I see myself using M&E. I'd stop here. I'll pass it over to Suchi.
Yeah. Shruti, can you come in?
Yeah. I mean, when I was a young person and I was getting trained into M&E techniques at college, I agree with Achal. Like the common thought is, okay, how am I going to use this in my job? And you're constantly thinking about it. But what we learned at Lady Oven was a lot of intersecting themes. It was not just M&E. It kind of got connected to the other courses that we were studying. We could see it in practice and interplay, the intersection between the socio-economic justice work we were reading about, the gender studies work that we were reading about, the program development and design work that we were reading about. So M&E was kind of embedding into that intersecting space as how I saw it. I think I remember that after my post graduation, I started working with a member of parliament in India. When I was on ground and seeing it in practice, and I was doing women development work and also looking at how the programs were coming out and practicing evaluation within the community. It was explosion of, hey, this is all how you can do it. And now, like 12 years, 13 years later, in my job as the director of global and engagement and impact, one of the first thing I do is we have a bold goal of 100 million young women we want to reach who are programming. And we are trying to challenge it and be like, 100 million is a big number. 100 million is a big number. My role has become to break down that 100 million and say, but it is achievable. It is not big number. And that what Achal mentioned about storyfying it with our donors, with our funders, and saying what we are trying to do is not too crazy. It looks crazy, but it is not, is something that M&E practice has helped me do. I work with Government of Australia, Netherlands, Government of Norway, Commonwealth Secretariat now, and M&E forms like the basics of every conversation, because impact is what donors and funders are looking at when we are working with young people. And I say with a lot of confidence that it is only my M&E and the tools that I learned at Lady Irwin, especially the participatory tools that I learned at Lady Irwin, form such a basis of anything I do with the community, to anything I do with the donor, to anything I do with the comp side, advocacy side of it, evidence-based side of it. So I think it's like the essence of development sector. We shy away and we have pride. People think it's an expertise piece, It is, but it should form as the essence and the basis of learning for any youth that is undergoing educational journey to make a career in development sector. Yeah, so it's the core of all I do.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. I think lovely ideas. On one hand, we see people who want young people, and the other side, we see people training. What are their needs and how do they structure curriculums? And young people, what do they feel in their career? Very nice. Put some energy into this, and I'm going to ask even my participants also to put this in the chat box. I'm going to ask all my participants for a one-liner. Okay, and I want to know from you, what is the change? What is the significant change you feel because of young people's engagement with evaluation? You have yourself engaged with young people, you are yourself a young person, and you are engaging with them. What changes because of? So, what are your thoughts? One key significant change that I would like to know from you that changes because of young people's engagement. Matthew, can I start with you? And I'll request all my participants, why don't you put in the chat box, what do you think when happens when young people engage in evaluation? Is Matthew there? Okay, while we are waiting, can I
Yes,
ask Kathleen?
the one line
Kathleen.
the one line which I'll make is a pool of enhanced capacity.
Okay, excellent. Enhanced capacity. Kathleen, what would you like to add?
I think you really see a norm shift in a generation that's acknowledging the interconnected rights between people and the planet for really transformative development.
Wow, very nice. Dr. Abhinash?
It will be generalizing enthusiasm.
Okay, excellent. Enthusiasm all around. Shruti, what do you see?
I think young people are decolonizing old techniques of evaluation, and I see that happen a lot
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I think, yeah. And Ajay?
I would say fresh and authentic experiences. And just to build on what Suchi said, just breaking all the stereotypes and being more innovative and relevant and impactful, probably.
Thank you. I think you have all beautifully captured. Yesterday's inauguration also brought out exactly these things, that why young people have to be part of evaluations and how they can bring about change, and especially with the wicked, complex problems the world is facing. It just requires a fresh perspectives and insights. And in my chat box also, I'm seeing some chats coming up which are saying that there are positive mindset, there are more resilient, and they become young professionals who can meet up with the demands of the industry. Excellent. This is really great. I now move on, and I would like to ask Professor Kathleen this question. So, as you organize monitoring and evaluation teaching within your in the course and in your university, what's the important factors that act as push and pull deterrents as well as facilitators for youth engagement and learning around evaluation?
I think one of the challenges is that career pathways and opportunities for young people in evaluation isn't always clear. It's a very complex field and its professional identity is evolving and developing. So it's not at all like fields where, you put one foot in front of the other and you know where the journey will bring you. That said, I think as much as that weakness is there, there's a corresponding opportunity, which is that it attracts this amazing and energetic group that are really driven by curiosity and by a desire to understand what's going on. How can we do it better? And oftentimes, because it is practice-based and so connected to, people's real sectoral experiences in their professional lives, it really helps address the frustrations that young people find in the workplace when you go out with ambitions and ideas and then you realize, oh, things actually aren't working. Why aren't they working? Evaluation can help.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. I now want to ask Avinash ji. Sir, you mentioned some of the initiatives that Niti Aayog is making to get young people involved. I'd like to know a little bit more. as to what is the Niti Aayog doing that young people, apart from the internships and the young professional program, how can we draw more young people who have not even studied M&E and yet would could add and learn from evaluation processes? What is the future vision of the Ayog, and what are you doing in your offices?
Yeah, exactly. So, if just giving a brief about like DMEO, we have about 100 staff here, and half of them are young professionals. And adding to that, so the age profile is between uh, less than 30 will be 50, around 50. So, and then they are coming with various backgrounds. So that's not necessarily coming with an MNE background, but have done some work in related to social impact or so CSR. So that is where in the interviews also we are not that much strict about you having an MNE background. Even if you come, because we do not have a structured kind of already in place in India, a long-term curricula with respect to M&E. So we are open to even people from science background, from engineering background, and even doctors. So that way we are not are very much strict about the educational qualification. Uh, some kind of initiation or experience will also do if to hire young professional. With respect, that's why we also tried to bridge the gap, started this internship program so that if any interns perform better in our internship, then we also consider them for the regular appointment as young professionals. So that is one of the challenges actually, that is what we are facing, and is like the managing the attritions, because as I say, they come with innovative ideas. They are full of enthusiasm, so they also want to like switch to better jobs and others. So we have learned it, and what the ways that the takeaways we have is to invest more in M&E capacity development, on-field experiences, increasing on-field experiences, and hands-on kind of evaluation. So doing hands-on evaluations and a long-term association in on the field actually makes the difference. So they go to the field and they understand how the policies of Government of India, which are made in Delhi, are actually changing the lives of the people, or how are they changing the lives of the people, with a question mark in mind. So that way we are trying to address the attrition, and to some extent we have been able to. Yeah, over to
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Also, now I move to Matthew. Matthew, what do you think? How can we get more young people involved with evaluation? How can we draw them? What is your experience of drawing in young people and retaining them?
Yeah, thank you so much. Getting more young people in evaluation, one, it starts from, it's a pipeline where tertiary institutions are giving us the young people, they are training them, and we're encouraging them. Actually, in Uganda, we are setting up a Male Tech Hub, which is monitoring, evaluation, research, and learning hub. And this hub is basically being set up to accommodate experts and young people in evaluation. So at the hub, we want experts to get work. And once they get work, we get the pool of young people on those jobs to work at the level where they have capacity, but also to learn from the experts. And actually, this is something which we are trying to build. And we think if we move in this direction, the young people will get jobs and they'll get meaningful jobs through the hub. So we are trying to get to the different commissioners of evaluation, and we've also communicated to government. Of course, I'm part of government, where we are saying that each and every evaluation that takes place in Uganda, it should have young people on board. So we are making it a requirement, and a number of agencies are buying into this idea that yes, we need to build and enhance the capacity of young people by involving them, but also giving them decent employment. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. So I'm now going to ask Shuchi and Achal, both of you, what made your association with evaluation projects really meaningful and insightful? What made them so valuable for you? And what is your takeaway that as we structure evaluation programs for young people, what is it that we need to retain within them? Shuchi?
Yeah, I think the participatory elements in evaluation are extremely critical. I feel they challenge you and they are like really going back to the grassroots again. Uh, I, when I look at my mail journey, my evaluation journey, I think that the participatory elements of evaluation helped me have more agency on strategic learnings, on intersectional understandings between issues and processes, on challenging the dominant paradigms. I mean, I look at evidence and MEL when I'm doing financial management and HR work in a program, for example. So I think that happened because there was so much insight of grassroots, the field work, getting to do it and make mistakes and learn from them. Theories are important, but I feel like getting the opportunity to really go into the ground and do it was a learning that I have imagery of, you know. You can go back to theory, you can forget theory, but you cannot ever forget the experience of doing it yourself. I work now on a project which is led by Government of Australia with youth leadership in 9 countries in Asia and the Pacific region, and I see that when I'm talking to young people, they are the ones doing the math, you know, training to evaluation to collecting data. And we did recently a process of co-analysis. Let's analyze this data together and how it shaped the next year of granting and design of the program and their own understanding of how they want to do advocacy of their issues that matter to them is something that would not have happened had I not gone through that on ground, like the real life, hardcore participatory experience. And I say that's where somebody said to me, "You're bringing all um, these northwestern approaches." I said, actually, these are not Western approaches. They are grassroots approaches. They were branded by Western world, but they come from the grassroots in global South and East. So it's amazing how that is still shaping the reality for me. And I think that's one thing we should never let go of, like hands-on, practical, do like rug it out.
Yeah, thank you. Achal, what would you like to add?
I think if I look at it in terms of standards, I would say leadership and accountabilities, because it has like sort of reinforced, the importance of setting clear, measurable goals of what I said and holding the team accountable for achieving them. I think what Shuchi mentioned in terms of achieving numbers, when you join a new organization, there's a bigger goal than the last organization. And I think if you don't evaluate your performance, whether it's as small as a campaign or a social media or a website, we don't know if we'll meet our goals. But also I think here we need to ensure that we are also leading by example. So I think in communication, especially what I see, there's a constant need for trial and error. There's constant need for A/B testing to determine, what works the best. And here I feel, evaluation sort of promotes that culture, which I try and promote in my team, that sort of transparency and responsibility, where you are also empowering your team to take sort of ownership of their work and also push them to, for continuous improvement. Sure, your followers are not reaching, your engagement is not reaching there, but how can you break it down and what your patterns or your trends and numbers are saying? And I think secondly is in terms of knowledge management and communication, definitely, because what works and what doesn't work in communication. It is very important to go through those boring Power BI dashboards and sit there. It's just not for programs people where you are, looking at probably how your program is working, but probably for website and social media as well, and for your campaigns as well, to systematically gather and analyze data and turning that knowledge. Of course, you have the findings, but how are you changing your action plan on the go with this real world knowledge which you're getting? So I would say these two things, especially which I use on a ongoing basis.
Great, thank you so much. I'm now going to ask the organizers to play Mr. Timothy Lubanga's video that he has sent, and a very nice video he has sent summarizing some of the efforts that have been made. Can we please have the video, please?
In Uganda, there are three main activities we undertake to increase the involvement and participation of young evaluators. Number one, the young evaluation professionals have a representation in the National Monitoring and Evaluation Technical Working Group, where we review evaluation concept notes, terms of references, evaluation products, and activities in conducting evaluations. In this forum, we find active participation and involvement of the young evaluation professionals, and I think they benefit a lot from learning on how to commission, manage, but also undertake an evaluation. The second activity we undertake is to provide internship positions for young evaluators in the department. Every 3 months, we take a new lot of between 3 to 5 young evaluators, and these are young people who have studied evaluations, development evaluations, and related evaluation courses, both at undergraduate level and at postgraduate level. And this has proved to be a very, very good contribution to increasing the participation of young evaluators. And thirdly, the young evaluators are deeply involved in organizing the Uganda Evaluation Week, which is similar to this forum, and which we organize every 2 years. In our organizing team, we have at least 5 young evaluation professional representatives every round of the Uganda Evaluation Week.
Great. I think that really nicely summarized some of the initiatives of the Ugandan government. We are now crossing time limits, and quickly I'm going to ask my panel that as we sum up, I want from you 2 things that you think should change or perhaps not change for youth engagement in evaluation. Quickly, I want from everybody, and let's start with Professor Catley.
I think the most important is that we need to transform knowledge hierarchies. Young people shouldn't just be the data collectors who are sent to, do the grind work of it. They should be allowed to provide strategic leadership and also supported to be able to do that through investment, through holding space. And as commissioners plan evaluations, this needs to be built in. Transformation doesn't just happen. It needs to be designed and planned for.
Excellent. Very nice. Matthew, what would you like to end with?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think 2 things, like you've mentioned. One, we need to adjust our terms, the terms that we issue out when we are commissioning evaluations to be very specific and include young people. We must go for it. If we don't, it is to whom it may concern. Those who want will do, others will not. 2, we must have a clear mentorship program for the young people, because much as we want them to get involved and do the real work, they're on a learning stage. And therefore, someone must be able to run a mentorship program which gives them the necessary skills to perform to the best of their abilities. Thank you.
Dr. Dash, Abhinashji?
Yeah. So basically, I second Kathleen that the young professionals and the youth evaluators, young evaluators should not only be used for data collection. That is what we are trying to do, actually, involve more and more. But at the same time, in India and any other South Asian countries or African countries, There are two types of youth, right? Who are born and bred in metropolitan cities and uh, urban areas, and one in rural areas. So they have both different requirements. Youth in urban area need to visit villages, and rural areas people need to come, and their exposure in other fields in terms of learnings that needs to be addressed. So it's not a homogeneous group, right? So there are different aspirations of youth, and that has to be addressed adequately. Similarly, second is long-term M&E courses and institutionalizing evaluation for youth, and through dedicated uh, recruitment process in every organizations, in government and otherwise, would go a long way. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Very nice. Quickly, Shuchi and Achal, quick one-liners from you. What do you think should change or not change for youth engagement in evaluation? Quickly.
I think not a
We're running
change,
short
but
of time.
something, I didn't think not a change, but as something that we should keep in mind is localizing these standards, localizing for the people, for different set of people that we are working with, the young people that we are working with. And the other piece is it's hard, but intergenerational leadership means we let go of we being the expert and become facilitators and them being the experts on ground. They will have more agency. The future will be brighter. That's what our common agenda talks about. And so it's on us as intergenerational leaders to just let go of being the
Great.
experts all the time.
Yeah, great. Thanks. And Achal?
And I think just to
Last
build
word.
on that, I would say language and messaging, because I used to be scared of it. It's very technical for people. It's very formal, and I understand. I mean, being 10 years in the profession, you do understand it, it makes sense, but it can be intimidating to youth. And I used to feel that sometimes when I was in my graduation. So I think we need to be something which is more bite-sized and engaging and relatable, which appeals to the youth to also sort of be M&E officers and leaders going forward.
Thank you. I think this has been such a rich discussion. So many ideas and aspects have come out. I think both academics have to be ready to brace up and provide the kind of context that is needed for young evaluators to be ready for the industry to get the right sensitive experiences. It's very, very important. And teaching of M&E just cannot be within classrooms. It has to be on the ground. I think the government is making such efforts, and I think their efforts are going to be critical to getting students to provide the experience. And I think what Dr. Dash is saying, that there has to be a churning and a mixing, and what Professor Kathleen was saying, that it has to be a transformative experience. I think these are very important takeaways. I think there are some questions coming up in the chat box, and quickly, can we have one or two critical questions? Can I request my colleague Ruchi to ask
Yes.
some questions?
Thank you, speakers, for such an immersive and engaging session. And now we begin with our Q&A round. And the first question that I can take from the chat box is, one of the participants is asking, M&E positions usually demand years of experience. Being a young professional, how to overcome this? So, Dr. Abhinash, would you like to take this?
Yes, so basically what we are looking at, not exactly many work you should have done and evaluated some programs, some kind of field experience which everybody in M&E looks for. Some, if you have been associated with kind of CSR projects or any other projects which in the private also, or this done a couple of internships, or like ranging from 3 to 6 months, and in total for about 2 years, that would do good enough for you applying for the entry level positions.
Thank you, sir. Kathleen, would you like to answer this one?
Yeah, I think one of the key requirements in monitoring and evaluation is an ability to connect the dots. So to look at program operations and see what that means for outcomes and results. And I think with M&E roles, experience in research, experience in administrative support, experience in project management that's all M&E experience if you do a good job of connecting the dots. And that experience can come from the workplace. It can also come from your studies. If research modules or are components of your degree, you might have found that experience in internships or other areas. So be willing to start anywhere and then make a case for how that's building your M&E skills and knowledge.
Great. I think that's wonderful. I think we are really running short of time, and it's been a wonderful session and such rich insights. There are a few other questions. We'll send the email, and you can direct them to the speakers. And if we can, we'll take the discussions ahead in other sessions that will be happening. Ruchi?
Yeah. Now I invite Dr. Rajiv Nandi to give his concluding remarks and vote of thanks. Dr. Nandi is the co-leader and co-founder of Evaluation Community of India. Also, while Dr. Nandi speaks, I request you all to keep your videos on for a minute for a group picture. So our production team is going to take a picture quickly while you keep your videos on. Rajiv sir, would you please come in?
Sure. Thank you, Archanaji. Thank you, Ruchi, for inviting me to propose a vote of thanks for today's event. I mean, excellent session that we experienced today. For me, being there in the sector for more than 2.5 decades, I think it was a great learning experience for me, for myself. We started with with power of youth in evaluation, co-creation of evaluation, standards of enhancing meaningful engagement of youth in evaluation. And what we saw today from all the speakers, from the moderators, even the questions, actually again and again came up with the the importance of engaging youth in evaluation. The speakers commented on how to break the barriers of engaging evaluators meaningfully, break the knowledge hierarchies, how the recruitment process could be more friendlier, easier for the young professionals to join the group, and also the meaning of doing a course to build the perspective and the basic skills, and at the same time, the importance of going to the field and bring innovation in evaluation practice through understanding the ground reality. So fantastic kind of a session today. But during my vote of thanks, I would like to thank Mr. Marco Sigone, Director of Evaluation Office at UNEPA, for his insightful opening remarks, and that was basically set the tone for this today's event. I would like to thank our distinguished speakers, Dr. Avinash Das, Professor Kathleen Blazer Mapitsa, Suchi Gaur, Anchal Mittal, then Mr. Matthew Lubulua from Government of Uganda, and also Mr. Timothy, who actually appeared only remotely, for your contributions. Very, very valuable. Each of you brought unique perspective and insights, but enriching the understanding of youth engagement and practices globally, but also it showed how all your thoughts are well connected with each other. I would like to thank Rashmi Agarwal ji, our one of the co-founders and co-leaders of ECOI, for our inspiring welcome address. And then definitely special thanks to our moderator, Dr. Archana Kumar. It was so well, articulated, moderated session today. It was so lively, and everybody actually participated actively, and that was fantastic actually. And then definitely I would like to thank all the participants for your active involvement and enthusiasm. Your engagement and questions were crucial in making this event interactive and impactful. And definitely our special thanks to the students, the PhD scholars and faculty members of Lady Irwin College for organizing this event. Together, we are championing youth and transforming the evaluation ecosystem. Let us continue to collaborate and innovate to advance meaningful youth engagement in evaluation. Thank you once again, and we look forward to your continued support and participation in future events. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nandi. My heartfelt thanks to all the wonderful participants and panel. Special thanks to the organizing committee and production team. As you can see on your screen, please do register and join the upcoming events which are planned for the week. And also, please don't forget to sign the manifesto, which is already shared in the chat box. Thank you for turning in today and making this event a success. Have a good day and a pleasant evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All.